My name is Zoe. I'm the Tipsy Psychic, and I'm here. I know I've been away for a while, and I'll talk a little bit about that at the end of this video, but let's get to it. Follow your dreams. Amazing. Today we're going to talk about the compatibility between the Libra Scorpio Cusp and the Cancer. This is a multi-dimensional couple. You often have like this very spiritual connection, you know, you both can see ghosts together. Well, not necessarily, but you get what I mean. Spiritual vibe. When I think of this relationship and I think about the love that you have, it's like it hurts so bad, but it feels so good type of scenario. But all the pain is worth it, you know? You know? I say that too much. It's all very complicated. At times, it may feel like you're on your own. You may feel lonely and secluded. But your relationship is not something you can just like walk away from. It's not something simple. Till now, always got by on my own. It has many layers, and it may be so easy to just chalk it all up to destiny, blame it on fate. It's all because of a higher power, whether that's God or karma, you know, whatever you consider that higher power. But don't make that an excuse. Like, don't use the spirituality part or destiny or karma as an excuse for your actions. So just be careful of that, because that can become an issue here. You can blame it on everything else, right? But you don't take responsibility for it? I don't think so. That's not healthy. So keep an eye out for that. It's really good to do things together, but make sure that you're also encouraging each other to go off and be your own people, you know, like do your own thing. Encourage independence, yeah? And don't forget to take some Zen time. Get in your because you're going to need it. Because if you can't get in those breathing exercises, breathe in, breathe out. That feels so much better, doesn't it? If you can't do that, then you are not a great match for your Cancer, okay? Now, this can be a relationship that is very religious. This might be a really strong relationship in the Amish community. Or even if you both are just ongoing churchgoers, you know, and you go to Mass every Sunday, and you go to church every Sunday. I don't know church lingo. Or to temple. Many people who are in a church or a temple or just an organized religion end up finding each other in this combination of signs. Either way, you always find a way to bring a higher power into the relationship, even if it's subconscious. Because faith plays such a huge part in this relationship. Faith in a higher power, faith in each other, right? Faith, trust, you know. If you want to grow as a couple, then you're going to need to be able to decipher when something is actually meant to get under your skin or whether your Cancer is just projecting. You kind of need to use your own wisdom to interpret whatever it is that they throw your way. When you're together, you don't easily make friends with other people. If you make friends, it's not as a couple usually, it's like on your own. You don't usually get along with their family as much as you'd like to. Figure out what you bring to the table in your relationship. And if you can't answer that question, then you need to do some digging, okay? Because you need to be able to answer that question. Try not to be so judgy. Everything works in moderation, and the problem is that you have a tendency to overdo it. So try taking some baby steps and try not to be so crazy. Good thing we're not talking about me here, because I am wacko. Set some boundaries, okay? Your Cancer can definitely be temperamental. They have feelings, lots of feelings. I gotta say, a lot of you who are watching and who are on this combination probably aren't religious, and that's cool too. It's a common religious match, but it's okay if you don't have like a huge spiritual practice. Just because you have a lot of faith in your relationship doesn't mean that it's super religious or super spiritual. It just means that you kind of have a spiritual vibe. Growth is very important in the relationship. So if you want to grow, then you're going to have to stop being so overly critical. And you have to try to encourage each other to be unique. Be whoever you want to be, Cancer, you must say. I won't judge you. Yes, you don't want the feeling of being judged. When you start dating, your lives are going to be really focused on your connection with each other. And like your relationship will be a priority. Sometimes you might struggle with how to be a good partner for your Cancer. Like you might struggle with not knowing how to really fully be who they need you to be while still being you. Ugh, it's so complicated. Stop being critical and analyzing everything. Stop it right now. If you're doing it or you're gonna do it, don't do it. And if you have done it, don't ever do it again. There's nothing wrong with a little healthy competition for some people. Actually, for most people, but there really isn't such a thing for you, okay? Remember that the next time you feel like you need a challenge with them. Your Cancer will have moments where they're kind of awkward, kind of antisocial. Maybe they're just shy. What do I know? You don't believe you can fail at anything together. Gotta say, I admire the confidence. You'll do your best, but if God says something else, or God wants something else, then that'll happen. Even if it's not God, it could be some higher power, right? You'll still do your best to take the initiative. Go and have a good time. But you're very aware of a higher power. The universe is doing its magical work. If you want things to progress, you're going to have to come up with a system on how to stay focused and to make things work. You're one tough cookie. It takes a lot to be with you. You can be high maintenance at times, and the Cancer might feel exhausted after a date with you, diva. It's gonna take a lot of energy, but you're worth it. You know it. Yeah, bitch. As time goes on, you really need to learn more about you. Do some self-discovery, because the more confident that you are in yourself, the easier it will be for you to navigate your relationship. You need to make sure that your relationship is working in a way where you can both be very open and honest and yet very real. So make sure you're really working on that. It can be so easy to just overreact, but you need to stop that. Stop it right now. You find your Cancer's awkward moments endearing. Aw, they're being so awkward. So cute. Neither one of you does anything halfway. When you take on something, you go all in for it. Together, you experience things to the fullest because you're never going into something with one foot in the door and one foot out. You're always ready to dive into things and give them your all, even if you're not in control of the outcome. You're definitely the more dominant one in this relationship. Cancers have a lot of weaknesses when it comes to judgment. They can be very vulnerable in a way that you simply can't. And so this often causes you to take more of a controlling role. No matter how good you are at getting along, you still succeed at getting under each other's skin. And you really have to focus on growing thicker skin. I mean, what else can you do, right? And you really have to focus on growing thicker skin. I mean, what else can you do, right? You can't let criticism cause you to put your guard up. You still have to be yourself and be completely open and honest Develop your armor. A Cancer would adore you. And when you get married, it's a really big deal. It's not just an act of love. It's so much bigger than that for the both of you. Marriage is sacred. Now, you like to speak your mind. You and I have that in common. And you're not gonna beat around the bush. Doesn't matter what kind of bush. You won't beat around it when it comes to talking to your Cancer. But the Cancer is super sensitive and they can easily feel really hurt when you didn't even mean any harm. And this can become a very unhealthy pattern for your relationship. Best avoid that. They'll feel like you're attacking them when you're not. Being together is part of adulting. You both have so much growth to do when you're together, and your relationship is a really good opportunity to do that. It's fine to believe in a higher power, but you're not off the hook, all right? Own up to your actions. Never try to get around them by talking about your belief. Oh, it's God's will. Okay. Maybe you're the one who left the dirty dishes in the sink last night and didn't clean them? Don't tell me that's because God willed that. Remember, do things little by little. If you have issues with binging, that can carry over to your relationship. That's not good. Try to be less grumpy. A Cancer will love you for who you really are. They will see sides of you that you have just been waiting for someone to notice. And they'll love you for that. You might tell each other all the time how special your love is. It's never something that you will just take lightly. It's very serious to you. Your feelings are very serious. And what you have is very, very special. And you value it. You found each other. So it's really hard to make this one-sided because you both see your love for each other as a gift and you put your hearts on a pedestal. A Cancer really knows what makes you tick, what really gets your goat. And they'll use that one thing that really makes you tick against you when they're upset with you. They will throw it in your face one way or another because they really know where to hit you so that it hurts the most when they're upset. When you first meet each other, it will seem like you both have it really together, but you can get very immature later on, especially when you both start to fight. It becomes very apparent. When you both go up against each other, you can usually harbor resentment towards each other, and that's not good. Not at all. You both see the best in each other, and you're able to accept your flaws, and you can look past the downfalls. When you get past the critical moments, there is so much admiration and acceptance here. It's awesome. When you first meet a Cancer, they will quickly learn that you will give your advice and your input without them even having to ask for it. You'll always give your 2 cents on something even if no one asked you. So either the Cancer becomes really dependent on your advice and they constantly seek you out to ask you for it, or they'll stay away from you and avoid you as much as possible. Those are both very common scenarios. It's really important to relax and find some stress-reducing activities. If you had to break it up, God forbid, it would be devastating. Devastating. Yes, that many syllables. Because you're incapable of detaching from your feelings like that and distancing yourself from your love. It's so surreal and you would be stuck in that reality. Something that you both have in common is that you both like to obsess about things. And it might be something that you actually bond over. Like, oh, you obsess about doing that? I obsess about doing that too. Whoa, match made in heaven. When you have flings or love affairs, they can be very dramatic and emotionally overwhelming. You make excellent rivals as well. You're usually very accepting of your Cancer, and you're okay with their quirks. That's a really big deal for them, and it's really hard for them to come out of their shell. And when they first meet you, they can just tell that you're super accepting of who they are. You can get nitpicky, but overall you're welcoming. Cancer is usually the one who's going to be more accommodating to you. You seem to need the spotlight a little bit more than they do, and they're often looking for a way to appease you. After a breakup with a Cancer, you're both going to need a really long time to process things before you actually date again. You go through so much. Being single after the breakup, it's like you don't just like dive into relationships easily, at least not a really long one right after you've broken up with a Cancer. It's very easy for you to fall in love and get lost in each other. You depend on each other, and you can become codependent, so be careful. Basically, when you fall for each other, you fall hard, and you rely on each other's feelings a lot, and even each other's intimate moments sometimes sexual moments. This relationship is full of waves of emotion. Feelings will be heightened all the time. You do have to be attracted to each other to actually be with each other. Yeah, but it might be hard to plan a future together. It could be very difficult to focus. Marriage usually is on the table for both of you. However, you have to be careful not to forget about why you fell in love with each other in the first place. A big issue for you both when you get married is that you start to get very limited, and you start imposing all these rules and routines on your lives, and it can really suck the romance out of things and cause more anxiety and roadblocks. So just be prepared. Another obstacle is when you're making friends and you'll have trouble sharing friends. One of you might feel jealous, or you might fight over friends. You can get very competitive with each other, and that's why I told you that doesn't work for you. Sex is important, and your sexual moments together are so incredible, so profound, and they really take you to a whole new level with your Cancer. And the more time we spend together, the more you're gonna wanna have sex, and the more you're gonna wanna have these awesome times together. And then there'll be such a high demand for them that you might eventually feel that you're under a lot of pressure, like, whoa there. It might actually make you feel exhausted. It could even hurt your libido, so just be aware, be wary, be aware. Now, friendships are usually way more grounded and way more mature because you don't have all these crazy feelings for each other that you have to deal with. Make sure that you're scheduling time to talk about your feelings with each other on a regular basis. You need a system in place to make sure that you're getting things off your chest and you're coming to terms with your feelings. So I suggest that you both pick a time when you are free to both sit down on a regular basis and do that every week, because I can guarantee that feelings like jealousy and insecurity or low self-esteem or resentment can surface throughout your times together. And you're gonna need to have a sit down for the both of you. Cancer's gonna be the one with the low self-esteem, the one who is less certain of who they are. And you're going to feel like you can be the judge of everything, and that's not a dynamic that works. As you get married, you'll have an easier time making sense of your feelings because there will be some form of structure, and that's going to be a game changer. You have all these feelings that you're not really sure how to handle, and having some structure is really going to be helpful. And you'll have an easier time setting boundaries and working on things as a married couple. Addiction can be an issue here. You both have a problem of doing too much of things. Like I said, you kind of bond over obsessive. So it can get to the point where some couples even rely on drugs or alcohol, or even like things that seem innocent, like binging a TV show, right? Binging or binge eating, you know. So you got to keep an eye out for this. Doing things in excess, you know. This happens a lot when you're in long-term relationships with each other. The more passionate the relationship, the more intense your need for sex will be. And by need, I don't actually mean like just like a want or a desire. I mean a need. You both might have to check into Sex Addicts Anonymous because what you have is so powerful and sex can become an outlet. Thank you so much for watching. And now I just wanted to say a big thank you to all of you who were so supportive and understanding when I had to take some time away from making videos quite recently. And yeah, thank you. It was so awesome. I'm so grateful to have such understanding people watching my videos and being there for me and being so like supportive. It's just like amazing and it blows my mind. So thank you for that. Being on the cusp of energy can be tricky sometimes. I think being a human being can be tricky. We all have our down days and stuff, and we all have moments where we just like need to recharge and think and like step away from the situation. And I was feeling really overwhelmed. I'm gonna be completely honest with you guys. I think that committing to make these 3 astrology videos with all of the information that I provide, it's a lot. It takes a lot of time for me and it's draining. I tap into a lot of my psychic intuition and insight, and I go over different things that I've learned, things that I've studied about cusps, and also it's based on experiences with the people that I meet that are on the cusp or whatever sign they are and the relationships that they have. So it takes a while for me to like plan it out and really think it through so I don't miss anything for you guys. I want to provide insight and knowledge and educate you as much as I can and be there for you when you need advice. So definitely want to thank everybody who really was understanding when I told them that I needed to like recharge. So yeah. That being said, because it was so draining, I'm kind of still figuring everything out. I definitely want to keep making these astrology videos, but if they're that overwhelming, then I don't know if I can make the most quality content for you. You know, I want these videos to be really, really good when they come out. And I felt like I just kind of like was all over the place. So I don't think that's very healthy. So I'm probably going to try to post twice a week instead of 3 times a week, and this could change. Obviously, I'm kind of like figuring out what's good for my channel right now, but I definitely want to keep you guys updated. I'm so glad that I can just be honest about things. I don't have to like, you know, like try to explain myself too much, that you guys understand, like spiritually, physically, emotionally. Like I just was like, this is like a lot of you know, stuff, and I want to devote my time to this, but you know, I want to do a good job at it. So if like I'm not there mentally, then it's not really gonna work. So yeah. That being said, I do still plan to post on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, but it might just be like 2 of those days. Yeah, I'm sure we'll find out. And as time goes on, I'm sure I'll come up with something that works for me. But I just wanted to thank you guys. Like, it's so important to have people that understand you and that are there for you. And like, I'm so glad that I could be there for you, and it just means so much to have you there for me. So, and to all of you who are like begging me to do your cusp, like, and begging me to do, like, you have requested videos. I get these messages constantly. I get comments constantly requesting me to do, like, what's this sign and this sign? What is this and this? Don't worry, I will get to your sign. Some people have gotten very upset and like stormed off and said, I'm unsubscribing because you didn't get to my sign. Hey, I mean, if they stuck around, this video might really interest them, you know? But they didn't, so that's on them. I can't please everyone at once. I can't even please myself, obviously. So yeah, just know that your video is coming. If you have requested a compatibility video, I'm doing all of them. And I also am doing them in an order. So like, obviously I'm doing like the cusps, but I'm also doing like regular signs. So you will have your video. It just might not be like tomorrow or next week, okay? All right, that felt really good to say, gotta say. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't. Thanks again. Goodbye.